Hello. So on this video, I'm basically going to be showing you the Sacred Valley tour. Now, if you look at a lot of pictures for tours of the Sacred Valley, they feature the rings of Moré. Now, the Sacred Valley itself is huge. It's large. It goes from Ecuador all the way down south to Chile and as far east as Brazil. So when you book the Sacred Valley tour here in Peru, you're gonna visit 5 locations, 4 of them holding historical value and 1 of them being the salt mines, which has a little bit of a historical value, but it's still going on and functioning today. I hope you enjoy the video. As always, like, subscribe, hit that notification key. Follow me on Instagram for previews coming up on future videos. You guys have a blessed day. So here we are at the Sacred Valley. As you can see behind me, you see all these areas over here. I'm being told that they're used for refrigeration during the height of winter. They will grow potatoes and other vegetables, and to refrigerate them, they just leave them here and let the snow pack the area, because up here it gets its coldest.
Soil, but under there is sand, gravel and stones in the bottom. The drainage system was applied perfectly, but by years this is gonna be just, I can say, this system is not gonna work really well because just the sediments is gonna go under, but in some moment it can run away just pushing all the walls. In this case, these walls have this system to protect just strongness, no? Tighten one each other stone by stone. So following this inclination, we find windows as well as the inclination. It is the symmetry, what is going to follow. Las ventanas y las puertas tienen esa inclinación por seguir la simetría del muro, ¿no? Por eso tiene esa forma de inclinación, parte abajo más amplio, arriba más angosto, ¿no? Estos dice que fueron casas sacerdotales. Those were just priest houses for the ceremony. Creado este lugar. Mientras tanto, es la refrigeradora. While we are in the refrigerator, in few seconds we are going to find potatoes just freezing. And the rock, as I mentioned, this is the Huaca Chincana. It was a cavity going under the earth, but now it is closed, ¿no? Donde está la roca más grande, en ese lugar había una cavidad. Esa cavidad entraba hacia el...
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range, cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why they say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, saying, put them on display, on repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you'll find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never do before. And even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Feel low, you can still go. Go, go slow, you can still go. Go, there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.
As you can see here, we have the rings. I'm told it was mostly used for irrigation system. As you can see from the mountain right there, everything travels down over into the rings. In my opinion, it would be one heck of a nice swimming pool for the locals to swim at when it's warm.
Okay, condorcitos, get your pictures and then get back here, eh? Hagan unas fotos y vuelvan por aquí, vamos a explicarlo todo, eh? English, the place where we are appreciating now, it is the Moray or Muyu Uray. People who live there on another side, they consider Muyu Uray, means circles of the down, could be the meaning of this place. According to the studies Radio Carbono 14, this is from the 1440s more ahead. We are talking about just from the classic Inca period, just 15th century. For the studies was Pachacutec who begins this. But how they get this cavity? So for geologists, this formation, it is just a natural formation by thousand and thousand years ago. We are talking about like a 250,000 years ago. The mountains abandoned the sea and going just with the minerals in the high mountains, creating creeks, mountains, colinas, dolinas, rivers and lakes. Probably this was like some lagoon, but in some moment this lost the mineral which was containing under, becoming some dolina, empty place. Incan people arrive and they dig more deepness. Now we find like 150 meters deep and 200 meters widest or diameter. So for the studies of John Earl, in the bottom of this we can find 10 degrees and in the upper side like 15 degrees. How it can happen is thanks to the sun. So once it's gonna become like sunny day, it is gonna be more warmest. The warmest wind is gonna go overflying by physics, and the coldest wind is gonna go just in the bottom. That could happen in every terraces, having like 0.3 until 0.5 degrees in every terraces, the difference of temperature. The study said every terraces have 1 meter 80 or 2 meters 10 centimeters the difference, which every terraces can represent like 100 meters in our environment. What was the purpose of this place? That was created just to be a laboratory where Inca Pachacutec used to travel so much in different territories, where he found different species of products and he made lead to this area to adapt, just to domesticating and creating by hybridization system the most quantity of species that nowadays we have. This is corns, but nowadays we recognize like 300 species of products, or I can say corns. So this was created by hybridization system. Inca probably found only some of the species, but really smaller ones. But they create the hybridization system, and the new creations were studied in every terraces to see where could develop faster, in the humid, driest, warmest or coldest places. If those products was not adapted here, the second or the third was just to adapt just in the most coldest places. That was the objective. This was even just with the irrigation system, with the water used to came from the middle of the mountain. Now it is abandoned. As this was built after 1440s, this was in function until 1530s approximately. When the last Inca sons they get the battle, it is when was abandoned the system. 7 years later, 1537, Hernando and Juan Pizarro, they moved from Maras. After following Manco Inca, they get Maras village, where we're gonna drop later. So from there, they explored their area. Just it is when they found these cavities, like probably like see, like this. But Pizarro's used just for amphitheaters, just going with people, just doing playing bulls, or I can say playing with bulls, and as well for festivities. Years later, this was destroyed year by year. It is when was abandoned again until 1932. 1932 was already covered all of the terraces with the bush, and some expedition, Johnson Sherpa was overflying here. It is when they saw potatoes growing in the bottom. Local people was using just for crops, and they saw and they get close and they found some rings which was almost complete in some areas. And after 1932, the studies begin, and now we have already restored. This is the most beautiful place where we're gonna find with stairs coming down, irrigation system, the most fertile soil we can find there. But this is kind of soil what we're gonna find in surroundings, but only terraces have the most richest soil just for adaptation, climatizing, or as well multiplying the species. According to Edward Rane, the historian, this was an amphitheater where minimum like 350 species of products were adapted. Like in the excavations, they found like coca stem carbonized, coca, avocados, corns, squash, pumpkins, tomatoes, kidney beans. Products were in every site, just in evolution, to see where it's gonna be adapted better and later to live in the places where could be just appropriated the production. Nowadays we follow only by experience. We don't have some book just to say, okay, this jelly potato is gonna grow over 3,800, but people follow ancestors' customs. It's like we knew already before, our ancestor has to teach generation by generation children just to say this one and this one and this families has to be produced over 3,500 meters. If you produce down, it's gonna be a lot of disadvantage. What means the like beetles. The beetles live so much in the lowlands, in the warmer lands. Beetles is gonna finish all the products if you produce in the lowlands. But if you bring in the highlands, temperature is gonna kill, and this is gonna survive. And you are gonna have opportunity to produce more. That is what we know nowadays.
So I just heard some devastating news from what I would consider devastating from my tour guide. I asked if school-age kids come up these areas for field trips, because for me, growing up in Greece and living in England, we did field trips to visit the history of those countries. And I just learned that even the students in Cusco at the schools, they don't come up here for field trips. It's pretty much on the parents to bring them up here and try to explain at best they can about the history of the Incas and stuff like that, and what all goes on and what all these monuments are for.
This is the three types of
All right, so I'm going to try some chocolate from the salt mines here in the mountains of Peru.
Barbecue, mostly the pink one. For medicinal purpose, this one just to take a shower or just to...
Very good, very rich.
Para bañar with the sal.
You can taste the salt a little bit, but no complaints. So right now, I'm going to have some banana chips, some corn, and some salt from the salt mines here in the mountains of Peru.
Okay, toilets you're gonna find in the corner. You're gonna get chocolate there, salt.
All right, with the exception of the banana chips, eating the corn with salt, the best way I can describe it, it's almost like eating popcorn. It just hasn't been popped. All right, so right now we're at the salt mines on the mountains. Over 4,500 pools of salt. So what happens is they'll bring the salt water up here, fill these pools, and in about 28 days, the salt will actually crystallize. Each pool produces on average about 200 pounds of salt a month when it's harvested after it all dries out. As you can see, it goes all the way down. And they actually harvest 3 different kinds of salt.
Harvesting just salt,
As you can see, more and more of these pools of salt.
Así es, todos se vuelven cristales. Okay, how is gonna function this? Los que hablan español, por favor, vayan aprovechando las fotos. Aquí en la esquina vean el manante, de ahí saquen fotos abajo, ¿ya?
4,500 pools of salt. Average 200 pounds of salt a month. That's a lot of salt. And the salt mines are only owned by 300 families. So right here you can see how they bring the salt water from the mountain through the stream over to the salt mines themselves. So that is all salt water going straight to the salt mines. And there you have the finished product. So where they harvest all the salt and put it in the bags to be shipped off to other countries.
Ok, condorcitos, vengan por aquí, ¿Dónde están los condorcitos de...
Nos sentamos.
De Brasil.
No, no creo que sea allá.
What we're looking at here right now is some ancient fountains that were actually used for a little bit of bathing. So right here is where all the houses used to be. And we can see temples right there.
Ok, ahí está la zona arqueológica, bastante grande, ¿eh? Una hora más o menos, aproximado una hora. En el pueblo sí hay servicios y clínicas, pero sí es de mucha urgencia, caminando toda esta parte, toda la parte llana, la vuelta en el fondo. No. Para ir a los países nada más. Tenemos que volver al mismo sitio para tomar la ruta.
So on the face of this mountain, you can see some holes on the face of the mountain. These are actually tombs that were meant for royals and soldiers, priests, scholars, things like that. They were buried in these holes.